So it seems I get put in my place every time I get excited about not having to put a lot of work into the car wash. Enter just a few weeks ago where I got a call and said there's water and soap everywhere in the automatic car wash, so I had to run up and figure out what on earth was causing this. I don't know if you could tell it from the last clip, this hose was essentially broken in half, leaking water everywhere. Now, like every business owner, I'm faced with a dilemma. The dilemma is, do I hire somebody to do work for me or do I do it myself? It's a trade-off between me doing physical labor or calling an emergency crew that would do the work, and they would charge about $100 an hour. So I made the choice of going here and doing the work myself, and it just seems that when I show up, a lot of other things break. For instance, this hose in the bay broke in half and started spraying everybody while I was here. This, of course, is after I've stood and tried to fix this thing for about a solid hour.
I've been fighting with this pipe for like an hour now, and if I don't get the last few turns on YouTube, I'm going to throw a fit.
Now, if we'd be honest, only about 30 minutes was really spent actually working. The other 30 minutes was trying to find a big enough wrench to ratchet off a 20-year-old galvanized pipe that had completely rusted through.
Gosh dang it, guys. That feels good. So, here's what we've done. I apologize, it's cloudy. It's because the camera broke and I'm not going to replace a $1,000 phone. So this is our center pod on the Rainmaker. And this swivels back and forth. We got a 3/4 inch male into it. Then this runs here. And this runs on, this is just standard pipe all the way there. There's another hydraulic hose over there. It runs into here, and here's the center pod. This is the electric for the machine. It runs a couple motors. There's an electric motor in here that runs off the electric here. That's 220. It's currently turned off, I hope. Anyway, so this is the power. This is, that should be going there. So that's the power. This is the water, and this is what broke it off when the dually ran into the car wash. This is wreck number 3, and Riley's down at the store getting me a replacement.
So, for better or worse, in between me waiting on Riley to get me a new 4,000 PSI hydraulic hose, we watched the individual that came in with, I think it's an F450 dually, and his hitting of this machine is what actually broke the pipe. So to break it down, I spent maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours working on the machine. I sent my worker down to the shop to get a hydraulic hose from a farm supply store. It took him maybe an hour to get it. I have no money invested in my own time, and even though the hose is colliding with the rails of the machine, I did manage to fix it myself. But this is the business owner's dilemma. Do I pay myself $100 an hour, let's say, to fix this machine, or do I pay somebody else to do it and I can hopefully go on to something that was more profitable? Is there a right answer? Let me know in the comments, and while you're at it, be sure to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, in the potentially more profitable categories is,
I promise I'll clean it. But thanks, guys, for the 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Lots of great things to come.
I'm still spending only about 20 hours a week on social media, and I'm in the process of setting up other businesses like this arcade at a local mall where we've put a coin pusher and an arcade machine, and I'm working on setting up a Pokemon card vending machine, which is crazy. And in other events where I have to judge my profitability on time, we had Customer Appreciation Day at the car wash where we had to bribe people with signs to come and get delicious food that we had gone out. It's kind of cold, so the response was a little lackluster. But we were able to get 2 gigantic boxes of toys for a local charity. Then I got invited to a local business that sells expired meats and other products, which I absolutely love because they're cheap. And I also surveyed the trailer park, which is finally coming together and making tons of progress. And there'll be a video on that really soon. Then it took a turn for the worse in the state of Ohio, and it got really, really cold. like 20 degrees cold. So I had to go to the car washes, and I at least got to do the thing that I love. Dealing with delicious car wash quarters. Owning both rental property and car washes in Ohio bring a lot of weird issues when it gets cold, like having to dig ice out of a sprayer. You pretty much have to go through a flow chart and figure out why don't things work the way they're supposed to. These car washers are supposed to have a weep system. These weep systems make water go through your hoses when it gets super cold to at least keep it somewhat warm. My one car wash location did pretty well, but the other one lost every single bay in the freeze. And each bay presented its own different problems, like the odd gurgling going on here, which probably means one of the drains is completely full. So I go through and use my magic car wash card to try and troubleshoot what's going on here. It's not supposed to look like this, but I've got to figure out, is it going to be ice or is something else going on causing the spray not to work well? I could leave it here and hope that it unthaws itself and fixes it, because this is warm water, or I could try and troubleshoot it even farther.
It's alive! It's alive! It's not supposed to look like this, but it's alive! Still not working right, but the line is warming up, so that's good. We'll let this warm up. See this? We're flushing it with warm water. This is what it's supposed to look like. This one's good to go. And we'll stop this. I turn this one on. Oh, got cold water. This is hot water. We use a hot water rinse, but it's mostly cleaned out, but I'm going to run a little bit of soap through it, make sure the soap lines are good. Let's see. It still should be good. I mean, let's see. Oh, nope. It's back to not working. Same as Circleville. It's the tip. The tip is frozen. There's ice right there.
So as of this point, the people in the area start to see that I'm working on things and I'm taking the cones away, and they are lining up to use the machine. So I've got to take some things and roll the doors up and run through a test wash phase on the automatic to make sure that it actually works, because some of the nozzles here are frozen up on the underbody wash. So we run through and I test it, and the underbody wash works relatively well. If you notice here on the left, there's at least 2, maybe 3 nozzles that aren't working great, but a little bit of water is coming out. So it's sufficient in order enough to at least start running some test cycles through, or run a few customers through, and if they complain, give them a little bit of a refund. So as we're running through and testing things, I got customers lining up wanting to use the wash. And the machine's working good, so I feel mostly confident to start allowing customers to come through and use this, because they want to wash the terrible, awful salt off their vehicles. And I continue to run back and forth to try and fix the machines while the customers are waiting on the test wash. So I'm doing like 3 separate things. Here's my handy X-Acto knife, and I noticed that every time I poke the nozzle, it works for a little bit, and then it doesn't work, and then it works, and it doesn't work. So I have a theory that this is no longer an ice problem, that there's probably something clogging the tip, and I'm sure this is very healthy for my camera. So, but my loss on the camera and my clothes, considering it's 25 degrees out, my loss is your gain, because you get it for the entertainment purposes. So the spray gun in that bay is now a Klingon one, because there are 2 separate streams coming out of it. So I've got to roll up this door to get it done. I'll show you.
Oh, crap. Oh, all the water came on me. But it's worth it because there's a guy wanting to come in.
So now with the door up, we can finally start loading cars in the automatic wash, and everything is starting to go good. And I have to go get the tools, and we're just going to take the whole gun apart and see what happens.
That's totally normal.
It was not totally normal for it to come out with black water.
Yeah, that black water's totally normal, guys. It's pretty cool, though. It's like a really high-powered garden hose.
So with, at least for today, all the problems being resolved, I'm able to go collect the money and reassess the day that it might have been worth it for me to do it, and instead of waiting on somebody else to come and fix the stuff. And as a business owner, this is kind of the thing I have to make a decision on. Is it the most profitable thing for me to do things myself or hire it out done? And if somebody else does the work, do they do it to my qualifications or where I would like to see it done? And in business, this is always a constant struggle, but as time goes on, I'm finding that I'm doing a better and better job and slowly becoming more profitable, making more dollars and delicious quarters at the different businesses that I own. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learned something, and be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you already haven't. And if you have questions, be sure to comment below, especially within the first couple hours of doing the video, because I do read the vast majority of the comments when they come in. Thank you. Look at those quarters go.